remember some very special circumstances in which, as a child, I found myself attracted to the idea of drawing and painting. When I was 4 or maybe 5, still in the kindergarten, I made a drawing of a watering can, which brought me some sort of the very first recognition for being well done. Later, when I was 8, at the request of my teacher, I was assigned a drawing teacher position in the classroom and was asked to teach other students how to draw. I have some memories of such anecdotes from that time, but at 16, during my higher art education and college, I already assumed the idea that this would be the path I would follow for the rest of my life journey. Throughout my artistic process, I have admired, like many of my colleagues, the great masters of universal art, like for example, Picasso, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Van Gogh, and the Ecuadorian artist Osvaldo Guayasamín. But I particularly value the opportunity to study under the supervision of the two teaching artists who I met in my first years of studies, Jorge Ortega, a ceramist, and Edgar Reascos, a painter and a sculptor. Not only they have given me strong learning foundations, but they also offer me their friendship, encouragement, and the motivation to stay on the right track of my artistic process. The reason for making and creating art goes beyond the economic purpose, since it is an internal, spiritual, and mental need of human beings. There is definitely more to art than being a part of the dynamics generated by the market. Its impact we can see in other aspects of life which, an example, are reflected in educational policies and social sectors. Those, with the help of art, fulfill the mission of preserving the social and collectively memory of people. The powerful application of art are proven in support of the emotional and mental health. Through therapy for certain vulnerable groups and populations. However, it is important to take into consideration the relationship of art, especially the contemporary art, with the market and what this entails. There, we can see more and more situations, phenomena, and aberrations that go in disproportion, blurring and causing those bad practices, which alter the very essence of the value and purpose of art as such. We could say that a small part of the population of artists contribute to this by being accomplices of tools that fit this system under discussion. But does not mean that the economic factor should be stigmatized all the time. Instead, there is a need for a balance and a healthy discussion leading to the benefits of the creation and realization of art itself. itself is the source of my inspiration. From there arise aspects and situations, mostly of a social nature, which affect me and provoke reflections, which then lead me to deeper questions and concerns. It is my hope that through a sensitive language of art, those questions would plant a seed which would encourage a dialogue in those who are open to get to know my works. In the world of art, adverse factors and circumstances have generally served as a motor, stimulus, and inspiration to generate interesting creative processes, whether carried out individually or collectively. There are strong testimonies confirming this, which we can find reflected in the history of the art. I believe that this entire complex period of the current pandemic, which has been affecting humanity in variety of devastating forms, will also end up being reflected in the production of new artistic approaches and movements. In my experience, the difficult circumstances caused by the pandemic have, in one hand, substantially interfered with my life and work, in that I have now limited opportunities to proceed with some work which I have planned before the pandemic, like, for example, promoting my book On the Map. On the other hand, I'm taking this disadvantage as an opportunity to use this open time to focus on creating new work and projects which otherwise I would have not been able to devote my attention to. Those recent works, inspired by the pandemic events, involve my experimentation with a variety of technical processes, including photography and digital intervention. They all require a lot of time. I believe that human mobility has always been one of the driving forces and basic principles influencing the evolution of the human being. It has contributed to the need for survival and adaptability of the human beings, being a starting point for a major changes. The migratory phenomena has often brought fears and provoked fears in the others, fears of the new and unknown. I also believe that human crossing results in the effects that influence the appearance of new social behaviors, identity patterns, with modifications that little by little mark new genetic trails reflecting the incorporation of other, fresh cultural schemes and determine historical contributions to people in general. In that sense, I want to see the human crossing phenomena as a human encounter with all its constructive and enriching forces. Different ways how I start my creative process, and they are often related to the life circumstance I find myself in. This usually starts with an idea which stays with me during all stages of my art process. I often stick with the original idea till the final result, but during the creation process, it happens that I spontaneously deviate from the original plan, and then follow the surprises which arise as a result of modifications happening during the process, in its different stages. Such unexpected decisions often contribute to the enrichment of my work and to my personal growth. When I work, I'm guided by a plan which includes a vision of my process with its concepts as well as technical and sensorial values, the basic elements which I consider a foundation for my art.